Hello everyone and welcome to Kiki Crochet. In this video tutorial we're going to learn how to make this beautiful cowl or infinity scarf step by step. Now the yarn that I'm using is the puffy yarn from Alize, and I used only one skein to create this beautiful cowl. In the previous video tutorial we learned how to make a blanket out of this yarn using the cross stitch, and this is the chain link stitch. Now you can make either the blanket or the cowl using both stitches. Okay, so the reason that I made the blanket with a cross stitch and this one with the chain link stitch is to show both stitches that you can make with this yarn. So in this tutorial we're going to see how to work the cowl using the chain link stitch, but you can also make it using the cross stitch that we saw in the blanket. I'm going to have the link in the end of the video so you can see the blanket that I'm talking about. So let's go ahead and see how the yarn looks like and how to start our beautiful cowl. The yarn that we're going to use is Alize Puffy, which is 3.53 ounces and 10.4 yards. And we're only going to need one skein to make this infinity scarf. And I think it's the perfect yarn to make gifts, because you only need one skein, you finish the scarf very fast, and it's in a very fair price. And it's very soft and very cozy for winter time. So let's go ahead and see how to start. Okay, so I opened up my yarn, and this yarn, in the end and in the beginning of the skein, you will find a loop in the beginning as well, so just open up the loop to create the tail. Okay, and now in order to create our infinity scarf, we are going to separate a total of 16 loops. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16 loops. Okay, now the loop that I'm holding is the 16th loop, and what we're going to be doing is I'm going to take the first loop from my work and the first loop from the yarn that's left, second loop from my work, next loop from the yarn, third loop from my work, next loop from the yarn. So let's go ahead and see how to do it. Okay, so this is the first loop, and I'm going to take the next loop from the yarn and pull it through. Okay, now take the second loop from your work and the next loop from the yarn and pull it through. Now your first row is going to look a little messy, but that doesn't matter. From the second row on, your work is going to look perfect. Okay, third loop from your work and the next loop from the yarn. Okay, fourth loop from your work and the next loop from the yarn, and just pull it through. Now take the next loop from your work and the next loop from the yarn. Make sure, because the loops are very close together, make sure you do not get confused and you do not miss out a loop, because it's very easy the loops to go behind and see how it's not visible, and you're going to grab this as the next loop, and then you're going to have a spare loop on the back. Make sure you're taking all the loops that are in the row. Okay, so the next loop from your work and the next loop from the yarn. Next loop from your work and the next loop from the yarn. Next loop from your work and the next loop from the yarn. Just pull it through. Next loop from your work and the next loop from the yarn. Next loop from your work and the next loop from the yarn. the next loop from your work and the next from the yarn and pull it through. Next loop from your work and the next loop from the yarn and pull it through. The next loop from your work and the next loop from your yarn and pull it through. Next loop from your work and next loop from the yarn and pull it through. Next loop from your work and next loop from the yarn and pull it through. Now this is the last loop from our work, and take the next loop from the yarn and pull it through. Okay, so we had separated a total of 16 loops. That means that when we count our loops on our work, we need to have a total of 16 loops as well. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 loops. Now you do not turn your work. What we do is go from left to right. So again, take each loop in the row of your work and each loop from the leftover yarn that we have back here. Okay, so let's start. Take the first loop from your work and the next loop from the yarn and pull it through. Take the next loop from your work and the next loop from the yarn and pull it through. Next loop from your work, next loop from the yarn and pull it through. Next loop from your work and next loop from the yarn and pull it through. Next loop from your work and the next loop from the yarn and pull it through. Next loop from your work and the next loop from the yarn and pull it through. Next loop from your work and the next loop from the yarn and pull it through. Next loop from your work, next loop from your yarn and pull it through. Next loop from your work and the next loop from the yarn and pull it through. Okay, so this is how our work looks like so far. Take the next loop from your work, the next loop from the yarn and pull it through. Next loop from your work, next loop from the yarn and pull it through. Next loop from your work, next loop from the yarn and pull it through. And this is how all of our rows are going to be worked up until we finish the infinity scarf. Okay, always grab the next loop from your work and the next loop from the yarn, making sure you're not leaving any loops out, because it's very easy to miss out a loop. That's why I'm pulling down the loop that I'm just making, just to make sure that I'm grabbing the next one. Okay, and the last loop from our work and the next loop from the yarn. And this is how row 2 looks when it's completed. And again, we need to have a total of 16 loops. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16 loops. Now, row 3 again is going to be worked in the same exact way. So grab the first loop from your work and the next loop from the yarn. Okay, and pull it through. Take the next loop from your work and the next loop from the yarn and pull it through. Next loop from your work and the next loop from the yarn and pull it through. And keep working the rows in the same exact way up until you finish your infinity scarf. And we're going to use, when you finish your infinity scarf, that means that you're not going to have any more loops left. So I'm going to go ahead and finish mine as well off camera, And when I'm done and have my last row, I'm gonna turn my video and we're gonna see how our infinity scarf looks like and how we're gonna do the end to close the two, how to join the two sides together. I've completed weaving through all of my links, and this is what I have as a result. This is the good side and this is the wrong side, but because the wrong side has a beautiful result, it seems as we have knitted. See how it looks like? It can be worn in both sides, in the good side and in the wrong side as well. So what we're gonna do now, since we've completed weaving through all of our links, this is what I have left. Okay, so this is the part that we're not gonna use. What we're gonna do though is we're going to join both sides together to close up our cowl. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to take the first loop and I'm gonna take each loop through each loop of the beginning of my work. What you have to be aware of is that this is the opening of the loop, okay? This is our loop. This is the space between the loops, so we do not want to put any of our loops through this space. Our second loop is going to go through the second loop. The next space is the space between the loops. This is my third loop. The space after that is the space between the two loops. This is the fourth loop, and this is the space between the two loops, okay? So that's what you have to be aware of. So take your first loop and take it through the first loop of your work. Take the second loop, okay? Now this is the loop that we went through. This is the space between, and this is my second loop. So take the loop and take it through the second loop. Now take the third loop from your work. This is the loop that we went through, the space between, and this is the next loop. So take your loop through the next loop. Now this is our fourth loop. This is the space that we went through, the space between the loops, and this is our fourth loop from the work. And I'm going to take the fourth loop that I'm holding on my hand and take it through that loop. Now this is the fifth loop of my work. This is the space between and the fifth loop from the bottom of my cowl, and take it through. So this is how my work looks like so far. Now this is the space between and this is my loop. So take the loop and take it through that space. Take the next loop from your work and pull it through the next loop from the cowl. Okay, and this is how our work looks like so far. Now make sure that you take each loop through the loop that you have on the back of your work. So if you're going through if you're working your first loop, you want to go through the first loop on the beginning of the cowl. If you're in the 10th loop over here, you want to pull it through the 10th loop through the 10th loop of the beginning of the cowl. If you are in the 16th loop, you want to go through the 16th loop of your cowl. So you want to pull each loop through the same number of loop that it's supposed to be on the beginning. Okay, so when I finish, I'm going to turn my video back on and see how to finish it up. I've completed working through all of my loops, and now we have all the loops up here and we want to close them up to finish our work. So take your first loop and the second loop. So you have the right loop and the left loop. Grab the left loop and take it through the right loop. And continue doing the same thing. Take the left loop and pull it through the right loop. Take the left loop and take it through the right loop. Take the left loop and take it through the right loop. Your left loop. Take it through the right loop. Take your left loop and take it through the right loop. Take the left loop through the right loop. And sorry for the noise, but they're doing road works outside my house, and that's why you're hearing those weird noises through the video. Okay, so this is the left loop, and take it through the right loop. Take the left loop through the right loop, your left loop through the right loop, take your left loop through the right loop, take your left loop through the right loop. Okay, up until we finish our work, we're doing the same thing. And the reason I forgot to mention, the reason that I'm going from right to left is because I have the tail in the end in the left side of my work. So I want to finish over here in order to close up my work in the end. Okay, so take the last loop over here and take it through the right loop. Now this was the last loop from my work. This was the last loop that I went through, and this is the loop that I'm left with, and we want to close this up, right? So remember that I had a tail over here with leftover loops that we did not use. I cut them all off, and I was only left with one. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this loop and I'm going to open it up. So I have a tail now to close up my work. So take the tail and take it through your loop. Okay, and you want to have your finger back here, so you have a little so you have a space to take the tail through to make a knot. Okay, so grab your tail and pull it through the space that we left and make a knot. And this is how the joining looks like. Okay, this is the scheme that was created from the joining. Now you can wear this, the scheme on the side, you can wear it on the back, but you can also turn your work upside down, because it also looks very nice on this side as well. Okay, on this side you cannot see the scheme that was created. This is where we joined. Okay, so this is how our cowl using Dalisé puffy yarn looks like. So thanks for watching, please subscribe, and if you like the video, please press like and leave a comment. Thanks again, bye bye!